Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Elevating Your Life. Oh, my goodness. You are just going to have so much fun today. It's going to be great. We have with us today Kim Woods. And Kim is a business strategist and master astrologer. She combines the ancient wisdom of astrology with her 25 plus years of C-suite experience to teach business leaders how to become rich and powerful and to make a big impact and leave their legacy. And she works with clients all over. She has been named one of the top female entrepreneurs disrupting the business world in 2022 by Entrepreneur Magazine. Kim's also featured in Yahoo, Forbes, INC, Entrepreneur, ABC, CBS, NBC, USA Today, Reader's Digest, and others. I love it. I love it. And welcome to the show, Kim. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
I know, me too, Paula. Thank you for that introduction.
Oh, thank you for just your awesomeness. I love it and all you do for others. And I would love to start out with maybe a little of more of your background and then what triggered you to write the amazing book that you have out, which is called All About Magic. So dive on in, Kim.
So I grew up in business, right? I'm a business strategist. I was working at Oracle as a consultant, flying all over the country, closing deals, and I got pregnant with my first. I have a son, he's now 22. And when he was very, very little, he had developmental issues. And because of that, I had to make a choice. I had to say, am I going to try to use very traditional Western methods to just come up with, solutions for him? Or am I going to start marrying those with Eastern practices and really getting to the root and really getting to, quite frankly, rewiring his brain so they could have a more typical life? Because the doctors had said he won't have a sense of humor. He's not going to really have friends. He's not going to understand how to connect and engage. He's not going to be able to throw and catch a ball. He's not going to be able to walk up the stairs naturally. And I said, absolutely not. And so major upheaval in life, as I'm sure lots of us can, attest to. And so for me, diving into the Eastern way, the intuitive way, the more feminine way, and marrying that with very practical, tactical, in this case, scientific methods, got amazing results. It took 8 years to transform him from a very neurodivergent, very unengaged little toddler into an engaged, happy, it's, like I said, sense of humor, understanding nuance and understanding, nonverbal cues and all the things. He was about 8 years old. And so it was life changing for me, as his mother. And so I was running business and I was doing things very traditionally, and I was running on two skis. It was like my personal life was pulling me very much into that intuitive, magical, space. And my business was very traditional and very masculine and whatnot. And it became untenable. And so I started to say, could I bring these together? Could I actually form a business that would take both and weave things together, because the results were so amazing for my son, amazing for me in my life that, So I explored magic fully. I taught 77 classes in 2.5 years, and they formed the book All About Magic because I wanted to see, right? Like I wanted to see, can I do things with runes? Can I do things with a pendulum? What would happen if I did something with oracle cards? What do people care about crystals? And could you understand tuning forks and all the things? And so when I delivered these classes, everybody went bananas. I had so much fun. I couldn't contain myself. And
Mhm.
so I thought, why don't I put them in a book so I can reach more people? And that really developed my intuitive, natural healing oracle ability. And laid a foundation for me to really winnow down a niche into astrology, because magic, you can choose anything, right? And so astrology was really my niche. And then I formed a business based on me walking into the stars the minute you're born, channeling the voice of your soul, downloading a business model for you, and aligning you with your soul mission and having your business support you versus you support your business.
Oh, wow. That is so fantastic. That is just amazing. And, I love that, you're sharing that great information that all these other things can, the left can work with the right. It can
Exactly.
all come together and you can use both sides. It's tremendous when we do that.
It's business changing, it's life changing. I will say that we passed a gateway as a collective here that at the end of 2020, it was no longer going to be okay to be very strictly left brained, logical, masculine. Nor was it very productive to be very strictly right brained and wisdom based and intuitive based. It really was the merging of the two and integrating the strengths of both. The
Yeah.
masculine has lovely strengths, the feminine has amazing gifts, and the combination is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I love that. I love that you're sharing that because that's so huge when we can work with both of those and do so much. Oh, so I can just imagine what you've seen and helped others accomplish over the years. Oh, I want to thank you for that, Kim.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. It's been soul. My soul wouldn't let me not do it, right? Because as I help people live their soul mission, I am obviously living my soul mission. And my soul just wouldn't stop, right? It starts as a whisper, then it's a nudge, then it becomes a voice, then it becomes a loud voice, and then you get on the luge of your soul. So that's what I did when I was flying back and forth from Boston to San Diego to study astrology. I had grown up in it, luckily enough, but I didn't know how to actually use it in a client situation. So I went back and forth to San Diego and sat at my mentor, Stephen Forrest's knee for, with a large group for weeks at a time and did this for a handful of years. I just couldn't help myself. It had to happen, Paula.
I love it. I love it. And so many times we can get led down a path and things come to us and it's like, something I hadn't dreamed of, but it's a dream come true.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I didn't know why I was doing it. I mean, I knew why, but I didn't know why. And I certainly didn't know how. I had no idea how I was going to wed the two things of working with pretty high-end businesses. We're talking seven, eight, nine-figure businesses where, 2 decades ago, they would say to me, oh, keep the woo, you just keep the woo. We want your business brain. And so I had to say, no, you don't get my business brain without the woo brain. So we're going to
Uh-huh.
do both, right? So I had to be really fierce about that. But I committed to it. And I'll be honest, getting into the online space, makes your reach global and being able to do the work in the way makes it easier to meet with whomever is ready. And so the people that come to me are ready to transform because not only will your business transform, your life will transform as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is so fantastic. Oh my gosh, so fantastic. And I want to ask you because you share about why the stars are important and how valuable that is. What exactly is that? Share a little more about that, please.
Absolutely. So it's beautiful to see that, historically we've had many famous quote unquote people using astrology. People like, Theodore Roosevelt and FDR and Winston Churchill. I don't know why I'm in politics right now, but I am. And then from a scientific perspective, Hippocrates and Ben Franklin and even Carl Jung. And so we had this very historical, beautiful, solid footing, but then temporally, culturally, who's using them? Well, I can name Lady Gaga and Beyonce and J Lo and Madonna and Angelina Jolie. So people who are looking to use the power of knowing when things are going to happen. So there's clarity and certainty, but also there is energetic force in the stars that we can lean into to help release or manifest or, really alter our destiny. And so knowing that was people say, "Ooh, that's really interesting." But Coca-Cola, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan's quote of millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. That's what get business people to really lean in and say, huh. And Fast Company did an analysis back in like 2019, and culturally within corporations, they're doing a lot of work around zodiac signs. And so it's really fascinating to see the blooming of astrology in the business sphere.
Wow. Okay, so how would astrology come into play for someone like me? How would I take that into my business of my Reiki practice, of my show, of
Mhm.
How do we play, how does that play into our business?
Okay, so the first layer is the forecast. So knowing when things are going to happen, because when we're doing things like you're talking about Reiki, I'm going to get to healing in a minute, but I'm just going to talk about our minds. Our minds want to know what's going to happen, right? There's a sense of calm that comes to us. There's a sense of acceptance of opening if we know it's the timing that is going to happen, when is a really good time to launch and sell and promote, and when there's a time that really it's all about optimizing or tightening up, streamlining, or quite frankly, let's just take a vacation, or there are times of the year you're really not going to attract the right people. There's times of the year that the people that are going to be speaking to you aren't really going to be telling the truth. And the stars will indicate all of that. So that's from more of like a how do I plan for things? But knowing what the trends are in the markets, knowing what the trends are in money markets, knowing what the trends are for those things that from an innovation perspective are super helpful more from a global perspective. So that's just one layer of astrology that you can use. And I do weekly forecasts. I have a podcast that I do the top of the month. I'm going to get into how to use the power of the stars, but I do things around new moon and full moon. I do an annual forecast. I do quarterly forecast. I mean, I am the forecast
Oh,
queen. And so that's super helpful for
love it.
common certainty. But Paula, in your Reiki business,
Uh-huh.
when you're talking about like doing things with people in that more healing space,
Yeah.
you can use, or even an interview scenario or a team meeting or a retreat scenario, you can use the power of the stars energetically. When you know what the energy is that they're bringing, you can lean into that energy and use it for powering your intuitive space, your healing energy, your ability to collaborate with others. It's fascinating.
Wow. That is. And all of this is something that you teach others and help them bring that into their business. Oh
Yes.
my
So
God.
I pre-interpret all the energies, and I don't use words like Mercury and Capricorn. I use words like it's not really a good time to communicate, and or it's a wonderful time to step into leadership, because you don't need to, unless you want to learn astrology. That's one thing I had to really figure out. Do I want to teach astrology? The answer was no. I want to teach people in business how to use it. So that's a whole different thing. So I pre-interpret everything and I put it into the English language in sentences that you can actually receive.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Share with everybody how they can get a hold of you and how they can watch your podcast.
Yeah, so my podcast is on all the typical platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, etc. And it's Your Star Path to Success. And I'm sure in these show notes we'll have the link, and that would be great. People can pop in there. And like I said, I do a weekly forecast every Monday morning, and I do a top of the month, and then I do the energies of the new and full moon, because you can use them to either release something that's a block or to be able to lean into something that you desire. My website, kimwoods.com, it honestly doesn't get any easier than that, I don't think, Paula, right?
Yeah,
And
I
so you can
love it.
go there, yeah, I know, me too. You can go there and you can look for anything that you'd like to see. I'm on all the social channels. I'm at Kim Woods channel on Insta and YouTube and Facebook, and there are lots of videos out there. I do a little bit of teaching on YouTube because I love that platform where things stay there, and I can talk about astrology a little bit if somebody's a little bit more interested in that, or I can lean a little bit further on how astrology can help you with leadership, because it's beautiful. That can help you with communication. It can help you with some of those skills that what I like to say is like strapping on a jetpack, or like having your imaginary team like helping you. You can get such support, and guess what? It's free because the stars are free.
I love it. This is so fascinating. And I'm so excited over that every Monday forecast. Is that just a live little something that you do?
So honestly, I do pre-record it to get it on the
Okay.
podcast platform, but I will tell you that when I do it, one of the forecasts is less than a minute. So
Wow.
in less than a minute, you get the tip that you need for the week. And I do that on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, if you go to Kimmy Woods, you can hook up with me on that. And every Monday by 10 a.m., you have your one tip for the week. And I have gotten feedback, Paula, that has been to the effect of, I have been following people for 30 years and you are annoyingly accurate. My favorite quote, my favorite feedback.
love it. I love it. So give give us an example, like a tip that you might give. Well, then what would someone do with that? How do they proceed with that? And how do they kind of realize, okay, what does that affect me here? How does
So
it?
the tips would sound something like this. This week is excellent for outreach, but Tuesday is going to be a really quiet day, and anything that you do on Tuesday is really not going to materialize. So as we get further on in the week, you're going to want to look to do that outreach Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably culminating on Thursday because that's the best day of the week. That's what it sounds
Oh my gosh. Kim, that is absolutely amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I am so excited to check that out.
like. Everybody loves it. I mean, they do. And again, on LinkedIn, it's short, it's sweet. You can stick it in your back pocket. You can just take it and run away with it. I do a little bit longer one on the podcast because I've got a great quiz of how you're entering the world, like how you're making decisions and using your energies that you can see on your map to success.com. You can find it on my website too.
Yeah.
Over 21,000 people have taken it. And I have these 6 signatures on how you're actually, like I said, making decisions, collaborating and working with others, receiving support and making money. And it's just, I came up with it. It is based on astrology. But it's become a foundation for people. And I do the weekly forecast based on your signature. So that for those people who have taken the quiz, that's what's on YouTube, that's what's on the podcast. You get even a more detailed tip for the week than I just explained to you.
Wow. Based on a signature. Wow. That's fun to think about. Oh my gosh. Oh, so for someone, let's talk a little more about the book, All About
Mhm,
Magic. What
mhm.
what are they kind of information or they can they expect when they purchase that book? What fun stuff do you
The
have in there?
that's the right word to use for it. I'm so glad that you said the word fun because that's what that is all about. What I wanted to do was demystify magic for people. I know that sounds a little silly and a little audacious, but that was my intention. First and foremost, when you're out in the world, the rule is do no harm, right? So you're not going to go out and start doing readings for people and start telling people, what you're thinking and whatever uninvited. So we set up that in the very beginning. But behind that, for yourself and for your loved ones, it's play. Magic is play. And so the intention of this is to take the how often do people sit there and say, "Oh, I'm channeling and I am a psychic," and they're kind of making it not be accessible to people. That is just BS, Paula. Every single person is psychic. Every single person has wonderful intuition, and every single person's a healer. It just depends on what you want to do with it. It's like every person can run a marathon. Do you want to do it or not? Right. And so the
Yes.
magic book is for everybody. The magic book takes magic and says, you know what, there are different types of it. There's the divination where you're going to get messages. And so those are things like oracle cards and numerology and runes and pendulums. And that's the beginning level. More advanced would be like palmistry or astrology or human design or Enneagram. That's your giving your brain messages like, oh, I get some information. If that's your vibe, you're going to want to explore that more. If your vibe is more healing, like you're a Reiki healer, so you love the energy exchange, you love the vibrational connection. So crystals or tuning
Crystals.
right? Or colors of
Yeah.
sound. You can see the crystals behind me. Those are going to be more supportive from a healing perspective. They're gonna help your body just kind of take a sigh. So maybe that's your jam.
Yeah.
Maybe your jam is cycle and seasons. Maybe you're going to love to like look at what the seasons can tell you, the sun and the moon. Maybe you're going to love what the flowers have to say. And, there's just a cyclic rhythm that you might adore. And then the last one is guides, so we all have a way to connect, right, with our intuition. And I'm not going to go through the clairs, although I do that in the beginning of the book. I'm going to go through tools, right? So you could use the animal kingdom or you could use the angels or ascended masters or your own inner guide. And what I want to do is just give people like almost like a buffet. It's a buffet of magic. And which piece do you like and which ones do you don't care about? Like, I'm not really partial to runes. Good to know. I'm not going to do a lot with those. I adore crystals. There's other vibrational tools that I'm like, meh. they're not my jam. So being able to give people a really lovely, easy way to just dabble and play and see what they like that was the whole focus of the book.
I love it. Yeah, then everyone can figure out what their individual jam is. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we all have the different things. Myself, it's angels, feathers all the time, and animal messages. And oh man, we all have our jam, you know?
We do. We do. And
Ah,
and giving ourselves permission to say, you know what, I really love the angels, but the plant kingdom is not my deal. That is freeing in and of itself. And because I was at the time really steeped in business and flirting and wondering how I could bring magic in, my intention was to give magic, like I said, on a silver platter to everybody and see what they wanted to do. And not everybody's going to do it in the business.
right.
But if you wanted to, you could. That's what I do, is partially what I do now. But my big focus is bringing you and all of you into your business, making space for you, what your soul mission is, what your heart's desire is, what your deep seated, satisfaction in knowing is, and not leaving that behind because you're too important for that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And everybody can discover what their jam is. They can discover that they do have intuition. They
Mm-hmm.
are, that's open to all of us. It really is.
Yeah, because think about it, when you're doing things based on your intuition, you're not throwing your mind away. You're still thinking, you're still knowing. And so when you combine this combination again, your mind with intuition, that's where you're making solid decisions and sticking with them. That's when you're really assessing whether is this person right for me to hire or not right for me to work with. You're
Yeah.
assessing, is this client going to be too expensive for me to work with because it's going to cost me too much in energy and aggravation. Your intuition is a guiding light that can help you every single minute of every single day.
Yes, yes. And what I'm really fascinated by is so we have our individual intuition, our jam, I love crystals, I love this, that's me. So that's kind of here what we have. But then out there is, okay, what messages are the stars giving us? What is
Exactly.
astrology messages? I mean, it's actually very exciting, isn't it, Kim?
It's so exciting. And for me, like I said, I first of all, I'm rabid about the work I do. I mean, I just can't stop
Wow.
talking about it. I'm
I
so
can
thrilled to be
feel
able
it.
to
I
do it.
love it. I love it. I love it.
So yay for me, right? And so
Yes.
when I'm able to bring somebody closer to themselves, and yes, we'll play with magic. And what I say to people, let's use my intuition as we're developing yours, right? Because that's a great thing to do. And or if you're a person that's like, well, not so much for my own personal intuition, you can use the stars to guide you. Because the stars are going to give you great direction. The stars are conspiring for your success. And so being able to lay that out for people for me has been really pathway opening for others. But then when you look in and you can bring that information or energy or support into your business, the growth is game changing.
Oh, I can just imagine. I can just imagine. Little things, little things. Oh my gosh. And I'm personally a fan of Feng Shui.
Ooh, I
That's a
love feng
fun
shui.
thing. I interviewed
Feng
an
shui.
amazing Feng Shui uh, expert from Sweden many years ago, and she helped me redo my office. And then it's like, that's when all this stuff was happening. The Times Square feature, the this, the award. It's
Yes.
like, wow, there's
It-
so many
and
things
feng shui
there.
is based on the I Ching, obviously, but it's also based on astrology. It's based on cycles. And it does. My whole house is feng shui, my business is feng shui. I mean, everything. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many fun things. It's like, we make our own pot of soup, what we enjoy, what we want to pull into it,
Hmm.
and we make it for ourselves. It's so fun.
It
Well,
is so
Kim,
fun.
with a few minutes left in the show, this is so fantastic. You're so awesome. What last words do you want to share with everybody today before we say goodbye?
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say is that you are magnificent. You are brilliant and you are here to live your birthright of being the person that you are in all your uniqueness and in all your gifts. And please don't ever forget that you matter too much to just pursue a success goal or a revenue target or working with a particular client, that you matter too much.
Oh, Kim, thank you. Thank you. And it's it's just so true, isn't it? We are all our own unique, beautiful being. We are.
Mhm.
We're all magnificent. And it's easy in life to kind of forget that, how amazing we are, and we are. And I can only imagine what you've felt and seen with helping others over the years, and you're continuing to do it. Share your website one more time for everyone that may be listening via radio today and or TV, and how they can get a hold of you.
Absolutely. So it's kimwoods.com. There you'll find the quiz, you'll find the forecast, you'll find the books. I have an Oracle card deck. You'll find ways to work with me. And so come on into my world because we're having a blast and we're creating success.
Yeah. I am really excited. I am going to be one of your Monday morning audiences.
Okay. Yay.
This is so cool. Oh my gosh. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. It has been just such a joy to bring Kim to all of you. I'm so grateful to all of you. Love, hugs, and blessings. Kim, you have a great day, and love, hugs, and blessings. And I do got to ask, is there any little tweak for this week that you'd like to give us?
No, not
We
really. I
are
mean,
at Thursday.
we are at Thursday, and I will say that this whole entire year, you're going to really be coming more true to yourself. And so stay the course, be focus on the long term and stay committed.
I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Love, hugs, and blessings.